Hi, this is James, and for today's video, I'm talking about Blood Orange, Dev Hynes, why I have such a strong affinity for his work, and something about him that makes him unique as an artist. Now, to get this over with in the beginning, I have music out there. I Only Know What the People Before Me Said by James Coe. Check it out on all streaming services, and it's on my YouTube channel. Easy to check out. Now, Blood Orange is an artist that I absolutely love. I love Blood Orange, and there's a few things that made me want to make this video. First of all, I saw the invite, which he did the sound for, something I'll touch on later. And second of all, which is a big purpose of this video, is I'm going to talk about how he's somewhat basic in his audience now, in that he never really occupied a purely niche space, I would say, but it has gone to the I am stage one, like, into music type of artist, and that is not bad at all. But the good thing is, it opens people up to his work and why there's so much more in his work to gain than a few good tracks. So to begin, I feel like it's important to kind of go over the general career arc of Blood Orange for an understanding of why it is so impressive, his ability to keep going and find new ways to express himself in music. He first kind of gained some sort of notoriety for being in the band Test Icicles, and they charted. They were a charting band, very short-lived, and an interesting group, sort of dance punky. And after that, he gained the moniker Lightspeed, or he chose the moniker Lightspeed Champion, and released some music that I personally would recommend anyone who's into Blood Orange at all to check out. It is so fundamentally different than a lot of the work he's released on as Blood Orange. It's almost Brit-poppy in a way. I feel like it was easy for a lot of people who were just getting into Blood Orange or until really Essex Honey to forget how British his music is. And in this instance, I'm using that as a compliment because he is from London and he is a London artist at the end of the day in a lot of ways. And when you listen to a lot of his, especially like the early and middle stage work of him as Blood Orange, Dev Hynes, it is very American in aesthetic choice and subject matter. I would say was very American and stuff that Americans kind of like to have in their music. Lightspeed Champion, however, is like different. It's just fundamentally different. It is very British in sonically, in writing, and really in a lot of ways. And it's ironic because it was recorded in America. The transition to Blood Orange happens, and this is where a lot of people, I feel like, understand Blood Orange, because with over 10 million monthly listeners, he has Champagne Coast, which is like over 600 million streams, and this is Spotify as of July 13th. It's remarkable how massive these songs are, and the TikTok effect where some of his music's being picked up on TikTok for stuff. And it's strange to me because it's not music that you would hear and initially think this is TikTok music. However, regardless how one feels, it is what it is. I mean, over 10 million monthly listeners, again, over 600 million streams on one song. And the way he's discussed is very much in the way an artist wants to be discussed, which is as an artist, not as a pop phenomenon. Usually pop artists don't like being discussed if they take their music seriously as like pop phenomenon releases this. Instead, Blood Orange releases body of work, The thing that's interesting to me is that Cupid Deluxe, the successor to his first like full album as Blood Orange, to me is so amazing. And it's good that I feel like it's very much associated with his career. And it's viewed as sort of a, not magnum opus, I would say, but like pinnacle in a lot of ways. Because to me, it's hard to see it not in that light. Because when you look at the transformations he made at that point, switching off of two different, like being in a band, Test Icicles, then to Lightspeed Champion, now to Blood Orange, and it's his second album as Blood Orange, something he didn't really get to with his past projects he was involved in. So he's now at a place where, and when I mean, he had more than one album with those in those projects, but not in the way it is as Blood Orange, where it's just him and it's so like I guess like intense and personal. And Cupid Deluxe is just production wise interesting, and it kind of demonstrates something which I hold to be very much true, which is that all great pop artists after Prince were heavily influenced by Prince. And it's important to understand with Blood Orange is like he's a pop artist at the end of the day as Blood Orange. And I would say the transitions he goes through after Cupid Deluxe are kind of odd in the placement of his like discography, because to me they're somewhat weaker, but they're not weak albums at all. And also the subject matter gets very heavy with some of them in a way that's good. And like, it's odd, I guess my appreciation for it shifted to being a little bit more technical. I think the production is like more pristine, and I think lyrically it's more defined and intentional. And not that it wasn't intentional before, but it's much more purposeful. That's really the word I was looking for. There's more, like, it's very purposeful. And then Essex Honey comes out last year. It was my favorite album of last year. It is, to me, an amalgamation of everything he's done. It is so interesting. It is more pristine than ever, but it still harkens back to this sort of older sophistopop that you can tell he got at with a lot of his other releases, but now he's fully immersed in it. Lyrically, phenomenal. And it's embracing, to me, everything about him. I can't describe how you're truly stepping into a new landscape when you listen to that album. And one of the things I thought was interesting was he uses sound from Arthur Russell. And Arthur Russell, if you don't know, was like, he made music in New York. It didn't land broadly, but now it's been more appreciated as this sort of sophistopop, a little bit avant-garde, but not fully music. And he, a big thing was like he played a string instrument, and like you can hear it on some of his projects very heavily, some of them not as much. A lot of his best work was unreleased and then released later after his death. He's a really interesting figure, and you can tell how influential he is to Blood Orange. And it was part of the reason why I got into Arthur Russell was through this, and now I love Arthur Russell. This kind of brings me to where he is at now, which is Blood Orange just did the score for The Invite, which is this Olivia Wilde movie. And I think his career right now is sort of paralleling Olivia Wilde's in a really strange way, where Olivia Wilde makes The Invite. It is phenomenally directed and acted, and my guess is she will mainly get praise for her acting, not for her directing, which to me was the more standout feature of this film, was how well directed it is and how she was able to get great performance out of these actors, which is her job as a director. That is your number one priority, is first get the good performances and let the director of photography focus on the shots. Anything extra than that is aesthetic choices made by the director that are additional, right? And add a lot of value. I don't want to demean that, but the first priority is drawing the best performances you can, which to me she did. She will probably get the most praise, and what I've seen the most praise for is her acting. And to me that parallels Blood Orange, because when he did the score for The Invite, it sounds, oddly enough, very Arthur Russell influenced, and it sounds like Blood Orange in a really unique way. It's something that I like about Blood Orange, and why he's been able to switch his sounds and do what he's done, change in the way he's done, and still be successful, is that he has this quality to his work that is unique and identifiable, that no matter what environment he's in, he is able to succeed and make something potent. And it's due to this sort of individuality and unabashed influence. With The Invite, you see that with Olivia Wilde as well in her directing. It has garnered a lot of comparisons to a lot of people. And like a big thing is like, it's like, regardless of what you think about him as a person, not a good guy at all, as time has kind of shown, but it's very Woody Allen. And to make something that has that sort of quality about it now is impressive. And in terms of just isolating his work itself. And Olivia Wilde, again, will probably not get the praise she deserves as a director, even though it's like, I'm obviously not going to compare to John Cassavetes, but it does remind you of certain aspects of John Cassavetes' work in The Invite. Now, I don't think The Invite was perfect, in the same way I don't think all of what Blood Orange has done is perfect music, but it has that quality about it, and that's what's so important. The thing is that Blood Orange is going to get so much praise for his early work that is able to be played in a casual environment and just be kind of cool music, kind of cool, which I don't think is what Blood Orange is going for. Just always just a little kind of cool music in the background. That's not what he wants, I would assume. I think, as an outsider, that there is so much to draw from past it. And I would implore looking in deeper, looking into the influences, and really, put yourself through the work. There's so much to learn from it. And when you have stuff that's popular but not dominant in the mainstream, it's so important to recognize the artistic merit it is capable of having. And when there is something with great artistic merit to it that does have a popularity that's undeniable, really delve into it, really explore it, because that's where there's so much potential for growth in taste and palette, as well as just like recognizing the great stuff that's going on now. Because when everything's said and done and people are retired, people will probably be nostalgic for movies like The Invite or artists like Blood Orange. I feel like people might regret not taking it seriously when it came out at that time. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about Blood Orange or The Invite or really anything to do with Dev Hynes. I'm a big fan of his. Thanks for watching.